Clients on Demand, the only intake system your firm will need. Episode 92. Are you ready to make your law firm a profit-generating machine that will free up your time and skyrocket your impact? With more than 2 decades of business growth experience and having proven that you can be successful while prioritizing your family and your impact, introducing the Profit with Law podcast. I am your host, the creator of the Firm Differentiator 10X Effect, Moshe Amsel. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Profit with Law podcast. I am your host, Moshe Amsel, and today I am going to be talking about something very tactical, strategic, and I want you to buckle up. We're going to go hands-on, a little bit different than some of my more recent episodes. So I'm not going to be talking any philosophical stuff. I'm not going to be talking about any mindset stuff. What we're going to be talking about is how you can create a system that's going to bring you clients predictably. So what I'm talking about is having a system in place that's going to give people a journey to take from when they first find out about you until they sign on the dotted line as a client of yours. So before I jump into that, I'm going to mention something that I already seeded in a previous episode, but it's not quite ready for you to register yet, but I am ready to give you some of the details. So I'm going to lay out the overview of a system on this podcast. And what we're doing is I am collaborating together with some of the top minds in legal marketing, legal business strategy, and legal tech to bring you a one-day workshop where you will be able to work with us hands-on, to literally sit with us for 8 hours, and at the end of the day, have this system completed so that you can start generating your new clients on demand. So I'm still playing with the name of the one-day workshop, to be quite honest with you. I'm thinking of calling it the Clients on Demand in a Single Day Workshop, something like that. We'll see what it ends up being. But for right now, if you're interested, first of all, mark your calendar. It is taking place on May 11th. So that's less than 2 weeks from the time that you're listening to this. So mark your calendar for May 11th if you're interested in joining us, because you want that entire day blocked out. We're literally going to be giving you implementation time as we go, so that when, at the end of the day, when you're done, you have a finished system, finished product. So that's the big announcement. Now, how do you sign up? Go to profitwithlaw.com/waitlist, profitwithlaw.com/waitlist. We actually have not opened signups for it yet as of the time I'm recording this. So you want to go to that URL where you can sign up for the waitlist. If you're hearing this and we've already opened up registration for the event, that URL will simply redirect to the page for registering for this one-day summit. So you know that we pulled off an amazing 5-day summit back in December, the Law Firm Growth Summit. We're bringing some of that pizzazz to you with a one-day event, a one-day summit, where we're going to be bringing in a number of experts to work with you and create this experience in a single day. So I'm really, really super excited about it. Cannot wait to see how this plays out. If this is successful, we'll definitely do more like it. We would love to see you grow. We would love to see your success, and there's no better way to do that than to literally hold your hand as we walk through this process. Now, obviously, this is geared to somebody who wants to do things themselves, either because you have no choice, you're too early in your journey, you're not going to be hiring a marketing company, or you spend some money on marketing, but you don't necessarily have this type of system in place, and you want to get your feet wet and do it do this initial work yourself. So whichever one of those you fit into, if that's you definitely want to go to profitwithlaw.com/waitlist and make sure you enter your name and email address there, so we know to send you an email as soon as the doors open for registration, which is going to be very, very shortly. So let's dive right into our discussion today. Now, before I talk about the system, let's just set the stage. When you are looking for new clients, your new clients potentially can be anywhere. They can be anywhere. Now, if you're geographically in a specific area, then they're anywhere in that area. But if you're not geographically limited, then they literally could be anywhere. And what happens is that they are going to find out about you from one of many sources. Maybe it's a past client or a family or friend that's going to refer them. So maybe you're getting a referral. Or maybe they came across an article of yours through dum SEO, right? Maybe they did a search on Google and they found your article and they read it and it resonated with them, and now they want to figure out how to take the next step with you. Or maybe they were served an ad that you're running. So maybe you've got some paid traffic, whether it's Google PPC, Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, YouTube ads, whatever the form of advertisement is. Maybe they saw an ad of yours and they are now clicking to take the next step of your ad. Or maybe they saw a billboard you have or a TV commercial you have. Now, obviously, one step that they could take is to pick up the phone and call you. However, in today's day and age, that's not how it works. Most of the time, people are not just picking up the phone and calling your firm. Instead, they are researching the heck out of your firm before your phone ever rings. And what you need to have is you need to have a system that's going to guide them like a light tower on a rocky beach. You need to have that beacon of light that's going to draw them in and say, here, this is the doorway to come through. This is where you enter this area. This is where you can begin your journey. And if you have that light attracting them, and then you have a specific way that you take them on a journey, you control the conversation. You control what happens. You can lay the groundwork for them to be ready to purchase from you, for them to be ready to choose for you to represent them, for them to be ready to do business with you before you even have that initial consultation or that initial phone call. Imagine if you had a system in place that not only captured those leads early in the process, but actually delivered a experience to them where by the time you're actually having a conversation with them, they know enough about you, they've heard enough from you, that they are ready to go as clients for you. That is what we're talking about, creating that system. So what I'm not going to talk about is finding the people. On this episode, I'm not talking about finding the people. In internet marketing terms, we call that traffic. In other marketing terms, we call it eyeballs. We call it readers. We call, depending on what medium you're looking at, viewers. But in reality, they can come from anywhere. As long as you can direct them to this beginning of the journey, then the sky's the limit as far as how do you find them. And we can definitely cover that in multiple other episodes, but I'm not going to cover that here. What we are going to cover is, okay, once they find you, what is the journey you're taking them on? So I've already discussed in an earlier podcast episode, and I'd have to look to see what that episode number is. So I'll start talking about it, and maybe I'll pop that episode number in for you in a moment. But in an earlier podcast episode, I already talked to you about the client journey, and it was a recent episode, I know. And let's see. So In episode 90, I talked about marketing hack, make them aware of their problem. And let's see, is there another episode that I want to point you to? So that's the one that's coming to mind. That's the most recent episode that really talks about the client journey. Basically, what you want to do is you want to think about, okay, what is the pressing issue that they have at the beginning of this journey? What are the most important questions that they're asking? What is bothering them the most? And the reason you want to ask these questions is because if you can answer that question, if you can provide something that is going to answer that question, they would be willing to exchange their information with you in return for that. Now, how you deliver that can be many different things, but in internet marketing speak, we call it either a lead magnet, a freebie, or a bribe. Okay, I don't like the word bribe, especially we're talking to lawyers. It's a terrible word, but the reality is that that's really what you're doing. You're exchanging something of value for something else of value, right? You want their information. You want their name, their email address, maybe even their phone number, and they want the answer to their question. And if you present that answer in a way that makes them believe that you have the solution for them, and here it is, and all it's going to cost them is giving you their name, email address, and or phone number, well, here you go. I'm going to hand that over to you. I'm going to give you the rights to send me emails that I can always unsubscribe from later so that I can get my hands on this thing. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to determine what is this thing? What is that thing that you're going to be giving to them? And that is what we call a irresistible offer. And it could be a training session, it could be an information session, it could be a downloadable guide, it could be a workbook, it could be a checklist, it could be a video training series. There's a ton of things that it could be. You have to figure out what is going to be the best way for my target market, for my ideal client to be able to answer their question. First of all, how do they consume content? Are they readers? Are they listeners? Do they like to see things? Are they going to be better off with video? Are they going to be better off with something to read? Are they going to, maybe an ebook or a guide? Are they going to be better off with audio? Maybe I should just sit behind a microphone and record the answer for them. But whatever it is, you got to know your audience. You got to offer them this thing for free in exchange for their information. And that is the very first step of the system. So no matter where they find you, you can now present this offer to them, whether it's in an ad, whether it's on a bulletin board or billboard, whether it's telling friends and family, hey, just give people my website, and from there, I'll take it from there. And on your website, that's what you offer on the very first page of your website. Hey, if you want to know this, click here to download our X, Y, and Z, or to join our masterclass, or whatever it is that you're doing to give them that first step, that piece of information. Now, it's really important that you have a system in place to be able to take that information that you've gathered from them, that name, that email address, that phone number, and to now follow up with them. Now, when I say follow up with them, I'm not referring to sending them an email saying, hey, I noticed you're interested in our services. I'd love to schedule a free consult. That would be the wrong way to go about this. Understand that before you try to get them to schedule the consult, you want to cement the foundation of this relationship so that they are most likely to say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I would love to schedule that consult, or I would love to have that phone conversation with you. And in order to make that happen, you need to take them on a journey. So that journey can consist of many different types of touch points. But in reality, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sending a series of emails. And that series of emails is going to solidify you as an established expert, So you want to be able to share wins that you've had as a law firm, if that's relevant in your practice area. You want to share with them testimonials from clients, your accolades, your reviews, things like that. Whatever are the things that you would, in trying to impress somebody, to say, hey, use me. This is how I toot my horn. Those are the things that you're going to present in one of these emails. But you're going to send a series of emails. My recommendation is 5 emails to start. You could make it a longer journey, but the idea is that you want somebody to have about 8 to 10 touch points with you before you try to get them on the phone. Because 8 to 10 touch points is what it takes for somebody to be interested in buying something from you. And if you try to get all those touch points in that first consultation, you're going to potentially miss the mark. If you got all of those touch points in beforehand, then your consultation is a slam dunk. It's simply a formality to get them to sign the engagement letter or the retainer with you. So the journey of these 5 emails, they each have to have a very specific purpose. Now, there isn't a specific way to do it that's right or wrong. You have to test it with your target market. I like in the first email to just introduce yourself. And I don't mean a dry introduction like, hey, I'm Moshe, and I was in IT for 20 years, and then I became an accountant. And after I became an accountant, I decided to serve law firm owners, and now I help law firm owners become successful. Right? That's not what I'm referring to. What I am referring to is, hey, I'm Moshe. I'm a father of 5. I love biking. I love baseball. I love football. Well, I love playing baseball. I love watching baseball and football. And side note, I'm also a paramedic. Interesting fact about me, I had 3 weddings and married only 2 women. Ask me about that the next time you see me in person. Now, let's talk about what I do. I help law firm owners grow $1 million practices. How do I do that? Well, I'm the host of the Profit with Law podcast. I host the Law Firm Growth Summit, and I work with law firm owners just like you in making their firms successful. And I would love to take you on this journey. Tomorrow, I'm going to send you an email that's going to highlight some of the things that I've been able to do with my clients. And then in email number 2, I then start to share some stories. 1 story, 2 stories, some of my clients that they will resonate with because they are them. They are the same person. And I can then share with them what I did for those clients. Email number 3, I might answer some questions. Hey, by the way, some of the most common questions I'm asked is the following 3 questions. I'd like to take the time to answer these questions in this email. The next email, I might send them to a blog post I wrote. I might send them to a podcast episode I recorded. So one thing I like to do is I like to say, hey, as you know, I've told you I'm the host of the Profit with Law podcast. It's a leading podcast in the legal industry. Well, I wanted to share with you the top 3 downloaded episodes of all time, because if these are the most popular, chances are you're going to like them too. So feel free to check them out. Now, notice what I'm doing when I'm sending somebody to another blog post, to another podcast episode. I'm adding these touch points. And what happens is if somebody is really interested in what I'm sharing, that's going to engage them. And it's going to get them to go further down the rabbit hole that is involving themselves with me, which just creates that greater affinity to me. It creates that awareness of me. It creates that connection to me. And it also piques their interest in me even more. Now you're going to start to understand why time is of the essence here. In other words, this system can be automated to a point. At some point, you have to step in and you have to take back control. So these automated emails take them through this journey where they're getting this affinity to you. They might even go down a rabbit hole. I might have somebody, I introduce them to 3 episodes of my podcast, for all I know, in the next 3 days, they're binge listening to 15 of those of the episodes of my podcast. They're all there. If they get super intrigued, if they get interested, they'll go to listen to more. So now they're taking this journey through this email series, right? And I've gotten them to this point where they've likely had enough touch points. And now I'm going to give them an opportunity. And I'm going to say, by the way, if you want to do a consultation with me to see how we can work together, I offer, now you can either do paid or free. This is not about whether you're doing a free consult or a paid consult. I'm just going to share what I do. So I offer a free coaching session where we'll spend 90 minutes talking about your goals, dreams, and aspirations, why you got into running your own law firm, and we will discover what might be holding you back, what might be standing in your way of getting and achieving your results. And if you think that kind of clarity is going to help propel you further, then you definitely want to take me up on this offer of doing a free coaching session. Normally, when I coach, I charge $2,000, $4,000 for a single session. I'm offering this to you absolutely free. Here's a link to book your call, but make sure to book it soon because I only do a few of these a month. So there's a lot of things I put in there. I put scarcity. I put value. I normally charge $2,000 or $4,000 for this, and you can get it for free. There's only a few spots available. You want to make sure you book it now. But more importantly, I spoke to their problem. I told them that this call is going to start providing the solution to that problem. And if they've already engaged with me this far, then they're going to want to continue that journey and book that call with me. Now understand that by the time they're booking that call with me, they already know that they would love to work with me. And at that point, by the way, the link to that free coaching call, if you're wondering if this is a real offer, definitely is. It's profitwithlaw.com/free coaching. profitwithlaw.com/free coaching. Anyway, so by the time that they're getting on the phone with me, they already know they want to work with me. So now I take them through this mind-blowing experience for 90 minutes. And at the end, they have more clarity than they've had in years. They understand what the next steps are they need to take. And now I put an offer in front of them, and I say, hey, by the way, I can help you do this much easier, much smarter, and with my guidance, and here's how it works. And the investment is X. Are you in? And that leads to a tremendous close rate on the sales side. So there's a number of things that were in there that I want to point out. So first of all, there's an email sequence. There's a series of emails that go out. So you need to be able to automate these emails. So you need to have some sort of CRM or email service provider. So there are pieces of software that do just the email campaign, and they're not really a true CRM, whereas a CRM will keep track of every potential lead and where they are in the process. So it's not just email, it's phone calls also, text messages, other touch points. Maybe they've purchased other things from you. It keeps track of all of your interactions with a particular client or potential client and gives you the full picture. An email service provider is simply the emailing portion of that and provides less insight and clarity into where they're at in the process, but it does a really good job of sending emails on a schedule based on them signing up for something. So I suggest that you start with an email service provider unless you already have a tool in place, and there's a lot of them out there. MailChimp is the one that offers free service for the first 1,000 email subscribers. And when you're starting out, you're not going to have more than 1,000. So it's a good option to go with. Now, where you present this offer is, that's called a landing page. And you want that to not be your website. You want that page to be very simply providing that offer and giving them the option to sign up for it, but not giving them any other places to click. You don't want them to get distracted and start checking out your other things, your practice areas, your staff, all of those things that your website has linked on it. Those are not places you want somebody to go when you haven't captured their information yet. There's always room to send them back to your website after you've collected that lead. So once they click submit and you have their information, you have an opportunity to present them with a thank you page. That thank you page could be on your website, so they click other places. Or you can offer them something at that point, a next step. You can offer them that free consult right then and there. So a lot of options you can do there, but that landing page, typically it's easiest if that's hosted on a landing page provider, and there's a number of those as well. Again, we're going to be doing this full workshop where we're going to walk through all these steps in detail and help you build this. So we'll actually get into the software, show you how to do it, and give you time to actually create these for yourself. So you definitely want to, if this is intriguing to you, you definitely want to come and join us. Go to profitwithlaw.com/waitlist, profitwithlaw.com/waitlist, and make sure to sign up so that you know when we open up spots and are giving out reservation seats for that. So you're going to design your irresistible offer, what you're giving away, your freebie, your lead magnet. We're then going to create a landing page where you're going to present this to them and they're going to enter their information. You're then going to create an email sequence that is going to go out to them, that is going to basically set them up for this eventual thing where you're going to then send them to that initial consultation or initial phone call, and then you're going to have the sales conversation. You're going to find out what they need. You're going to tell them why they need you, why working with you is the best decision ever, and you're going to turn around and close the deal. So that is basically the process in a nutshell. And I know that I kept it high level. I kept it short and sweet. I didn't want to make this too entailed, but I did want to start laying it out for you to give you the groundwork, the foundation that you're going to need if you want to join us on May 11th. So definitely get on the wait list. Again, profitwithlaw.com/waitlist. And we're going to open registration up really, really shortly. It's coming up real fast. So we will send you an email as soon as that opens up. Folks, thank you so much for joining me, and we have a great interview coming up on Thursday. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. I will see you then. Have you been enjoying the show? We sure hope so. To make sure you never miss an episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button in your podcast player app. Next week, we will be back with more valuable resources and ideas on how to break the mold and take your law firm to the next level.